Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and if you enjoy listening to us not only on the website but also on iTunes, be sure to check us out on Stitcher as well. Stitcher is an iPhone, Android app, also on other smartphones. You can download for free, and also registration is for free too. It's an app that you can listen to any podcast that is on there without ever downloading a file. When you register with Stitcher, be sure to put in promo code Mission Start or Conover or both, and you get to automatically be entered into a $100 prize every month from Stitcher. So be sure to check us out, support us, and we'll support you guys. Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and we have another episode of the Conover. As you might notice, our main podcast, Mission Start Podcast, has been on hiatus because we have a lot more of the other good stuff coming your way. So for this Conover episode, it's a week late, but it'll be a good one. We will be talking about SAC Anime and the experiences we just had last weekend, and it was pretty awesome. But with me, I couldn't do it alone. I have to have a star-studded cast for this one. This is like the Expendables of the podcasting world right now. I'll start and say we have Kazu from Run Our Network.
Hello.
We have Greg the Coon Dietz from The Overtime.
Thanks for that introduction. I appreciate that.
No, not a problem. We have Chris, our one and only Mission Start Podcast reviewer slash anything else to put crap on him person.
Yeah, pretty much I'm your work mule.
Yes.
Howdy, guys.
Yes, Chris, you're the Jason Statham of this expendable team.
Nice.
Let's see. We have Ryan Dono with us today.
Hola.
Yes, and if I were to compare you to anybody right now, I would say you are the Bruce Willis of the team, even though he just made his cameo appearance a few times.
Exactly. Actually, I would agree with that.
And welcome to the Conover. And if I were to describe anybody that would be in the Expendables, I'll probably be the Jet Li because I'm pretty small.
Can I be Chuck Norris?
Yes, by all means. You could be the Chuck Norris of the team.
All right, awesome.
All right, fellas. So we've all been to SAC Anime this past weekend. It was 3 days in Sacramento. It was the last time that it will ever be at the Wood Lake / Radisson Hotel. Anybody? I would say who am I gonna choose? I'm gonna say Chris.
Yes.
Your thoughts on SAC Anime? Just kind of. If you want to dissect the whole SAC Anime experience, or just kind of go one day at a time, go ahead. You are on the stage.
Well, first off, glad to go first. But there were honestly so many different aspects of SAC Anime to talk about that I personally could go on for at least a good hour just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But to keep things relatively short and simple, I would have to say that of all the SAC animes that I've been to over the course of the past 8 years, for those who may have forgotten or didn't know, SAC anime hit 8 years old over the course of this past weekend.
8 years old, Jesus, 8 years, damn.
Yeah, you remember how last year they had that whole big thing about it being the Big 7?
I remember last year being pretty damn big. I forgot that they were celebrating the whole Big 7 thing. But yes, wow, it's been that long. Jesus.
Well, anyway, so over the course of the weekend, I'd have to say that it definitely felt a lot friendlier than normal. I think in years, I'm gonna go ahead and say 4 through 7.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, 4 to 7. It's felt a little disjointed from the norm. Honestly, going to SAC Anime before, it might have been because I started joining. I joined the team a year ago, or yeah, holy crap, about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, it's just the fact that going through there and going to SAC Anime and everything like that, for some reason, it just before had felt like the people were disconnected. Like they only went there to go and shop and do a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, this past one, it very well may have been due to a very special event for many of us that things had changed for the better in Harrison's memory.
Right, definitely. I believe that tech anime has gotten better over the years. As far
But
as
over the course of this one in particular, it's like everything flip flopped and everyone was just so much friendlier
mm-hmm.
at this event.
Yeah, I it's
It almost felt
yeah.
familiar.
It's funny how that turned out to be. I mean, like yeah, it seemed the thing is though with this Sac anime, like it was one of the most crowded, but also like most friendliest conventions that I've ever been to. Like you wouldn't expect this type of hospitality, except if you're out in the Midwest maybe or in another place. But yeah, I'm actually surprised. It was actually pretty cool. But yes, I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
I have to actually
So
agree with that. It did seem a lot friendlier than some other SAC animes. I mean, typically when I do go to SAC anime, it's typically a very friendly environment, but a lot more people were interested
like they
in
went out of their
and
way
talking.
to be friendlier.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. People did go out of their way to be friendly, and I did appreciate that. And I think you're right on with that, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. W
May I continue?
yes, you may.
So other than the fact that I didn't mean if I had cut you off for anything,
Nah, it's cool. It's
you know,
cool.
completely unintentional there. But with the way that the convention was, is other than being considerably friendlier than normal, uh, and of course a lot more crowded than it normally
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
I had noticed that there were a lot of people over at the convention that were legitimately, like, okay, the cosplay gatherings that are normally held over at the con?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't feel like contests anymore, like to see who, could put together the best gathering and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it felt something more along the lines of, hey, we all like this, how about we just go ahead and meet each other? And that's what the original intention was supposed to be, but it felt more authentic this time around.
Right. I hear you.
I noticed that like with gatherings like the My Little Pony gathering, the Homestuck gathering, the Pokemon gathering, and all the other ones that were held across the convention, they felt much more laid back than normal, and it was a very refreshing change of pace.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Somebody was gonna say something. I heard somebody's protocol. Anybody? Anybody gonna jump in on this? Okay, never mind. But yes, I do agree with you, Chris. Like because I feel that over the years, I believe that aside from the early beginnings of tech anime and kind of people, out for blood and my costume is better than yours. I believe that in the Sacramento area that we've been together for so long that we just gave up and just started enjoying each other's company, if that's the best way to put it.
And I also noticed that well, over the course of the past couple of years, I noticed that there have been some people who really like amp up their cosplays. Like, there's that one Legend of Zelda group that goes as Twilight Princess Zelda,
Oh yeah,
Zance.
yeah.
Like, those people are what you could say the big shots that
Mm-hmm.
come along. And I noticed that none of them were there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the reason why is because I think they felt like this was going to be the last time that's going to be at the hotel, but also more or less I think they're just preparing for the big move when it goes to convention center, which we'll talk about later on in the show. Um, but yeah, it felt. What's funny? It reminds me of, and I'll do this real quickly. It reminded me of top players that you usually that go to big tournaments or no they don't go and let the average joes kind of play with themselves, if that makes any sense.
Um, to phrase that a little bit better.
um but yeah, like
Like amongst each other, you mean?
yes. But I definitely hear you. I think because there weren't that many big name cosplayers, it was more or less a place for even the average Joe to just go and hang out and like, hey, your costume is awesome, so is yours, and then exchange conversations. So I definitely felt that. Yes, yes. Awesome. Um Kazu, now
Yeah.
you told me that when you were there, you told me there was about at its peak 6,800 at one time at the con, right?
Yes. They put a thing in the an update up on their, I think it was on their Twitter or one of their, it might have been Facebook. There was literally 6,800, and then actually I just recently heard there's a new number as far as over the whole weekend was 7,700.
God
In
damn.
total, and at winter in January they announced that this con had hit like it was like 5,600, so we're seeing like an almost like 2,000 increase,
Wow. That
which is amazing.
that's insane.
I thought that I heard that from the last SAC anime that there was a draw of almost 7,000 people.
Well, it was ending ceremonies of last year. It was like 56, or it might have been like 65. That might be what it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
and
it was like
then
65 and then increased like maybe 1,000.
I heard
yeah,
it was
so
about 7,000 too.
Yeah, the official website right now has 7,700 on the front page.
Wow.
Wow,
It's just,
That's
I
insane.
find that really impressive, actually.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been a year yet, and they've got 1,000 more, and then who knows on top of the convention center and just all the news of their move and stuff, and how many more that will bring in. Because I know a lot of people that only go to cons at like convention centers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's going to be like a pretty big increase, but
Definitely.
and imagine if they promote it in the SAC B or in any other newspaper.
oh yeah, they're going to do
Some
that for
weeks or
sure.
months in advance.
Yeah. It would definitely be it's gonna be very interesting to see how it turns out. Um so yeah, like Kazu, like out of the years that you've been going, like
Mhm.
obviously this was the most that we've all seen in a long time.
Mhm.
Do you potentially see SAC anime getting bigger and bigger over the years?
Yes, I can really. This is a topic that I've talked a lot about with a lot of friends and people I work with and stuff, and we've really looking at Sac Anime as maybe, hopefully, I want to see it get to maybe being that third, because we have Fanime and then we have AX.
WonderCon.
Yeah, there's WonderCon and Comic Con, but as far as just strictly AnimeCon. I could really see Sakoname maybe getting up there to be like, the trio, Sakoname, Fanime, and AX,
Mm-hmm.
just in a row like that. And, or well, as far as the year goes, Fanime, then AX, then Sakoname, but anyway, yeah, I can see it getting to be pretty big, especially if they have the con center, which is an enormous amount of room. I know the last time we did a podcast, we were talking about if we knew what it was like there, and I actually went down and scoped it out, and there's a lot of room
Oh yeah.
for Saconomy to work with. Like, I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing how they're going to organize it. And I know Joden, the director of programming, is really like excited to be able to have a lot of space to work with that kind of space for the con.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can see it. I can see it getting a lot bigger.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think the one big draw is obviously moving to the convention center in Sacramento. But I think the other big draw is that when people hear that a a convention that was going around for a long time is finally getting not only its convention center, but
Hmm.
also it's in a place where it's in downtown, where it's in a perfect place to you want to go get a hotel or you want to get food and transportation there is easier, then you'll get more people to draw into that area instead of the hotel every now. Because honestly, I think we can all agree that the years that the SAC anime has been at the Radisson at or not my bad, the Radisson slash Wood Lake Hotel, it
Hmm.
has been out of the way for most of us to get there.
It has been. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think in general, just just the fact that it's been able to continue to grow while being at the Radisson and or the Wood Lake now,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that the con has gone through and some of the downsides that have come out over the years. Different, every year has one like thing you hear about.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel does this or the hotel does that, and even with all of that, they've still managed to grow. Like I mean, like this year with the 1,000, roughly 1,000 increase.
Right.
That's still really impressive that they're doing a job that's good enough to be able to still grow even under difficult circumstances in small space.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, like I think the best way to put it is that they manage to increase their numbers every year, and making it bigger and bigger to the point that they've earned the right to get a convention center. Like if it
Hmm.
was something where like it was only like 50, 100 came every year and it wasn't that big, then it's like it's not quite big enough. But since they've gone enough people, it's finally got that key to finally get to the gatekeeper in a very metaphorical way.
Hmm.
Um, Greg, you
Yes.
now you kind of been the outsider of Sac Anime. I know you go to Sac Anime, but not some because I remember I seen you like for 1 or 2 days, but this past weekend I saw you or last weekend I saw you for the past 3 days. Um,
Yes.
what do you think? What do
Uh,
you think about all this?
I the last two SAC animes that I went to before this one, um, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed how small and kind of the strong community. I enjoyed that. Like you
Hmm.
go to some of the bigger conventions and you don't get that. You don't get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
strong feeling of like we're all the same. We all like the same stuff. So we're kind of in that. It's again like when you go to like the big conventions. It's very uh, it's not as intrusive.
Hmm.
You don't feel like people really care that you're there. But at SAC Anime, everyone gives a shit. The great thing that I like about SAC Anime and all three of them that I've been to is that the celebrities that are there
Yeah.
like legitimately give a shit about being there.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
true.
I've had the pleasure to interview Troy Baker, Ali Hillis, at the last SAC Anime, and then this SAC Anime, Jennifer Hale and Roger Craig Smith, and both times they're like incredibly happy that they get to meet their fans. And I don't know if that's just dumb luck on the people's part of putting it together that they get voice actors that are like that, or just that they accommodate to,
Legitimately like doing that.
or yeah, I mean, I feel like they legitimately like doing it because of the way that they're speaking to me. But it's a great feeling. And then you walk around and you see a costume and you're like, oh, what? I don't know what you're from. What are you from? And the person doesn't just, oh, how do you not know? They're like, oh, it's this anime. You should go check it out. Or it's this TV show. You should go check it out. Or, like the first time I saw a Homestruck costume, I didn't know what it was. As a matter of fact, me and my friend were like, I don't know. Go up to the girl and go, what are you guys from? We don't know, we recognize your costume. She's like, oh, it's a webcomic called Homestruck. You should go check it out. And then I was like, what is it? She just goes, oh, Homestruck.com. It's really cool. It's an interactive comic. And I was like, all right, cool, thanks.
Awesome.
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 I've almost never experienced that when I have to ask somebody what their costume is because I don't recognize it.
Right.
Um, and that's one thing that I've always like looked forward to when I go to SAC Anime. I never feel like when I ask somebody for a picture, they're gonna be annoyed with me. I never feel like they're going to be upset. And so that community aspect of I'm legitimately happy to be here. The
Hmm.
other aspect that I really enjoy about SAC Anime and the people that go is uh that they put a lot of time and effort into those costumes.
Oh yeah.
And when you look at how just amazing they are, you go, that person spent their own hard-earned money creating this costume that looks like the character from the thing that they're dressed as.
Hmm.
And it's no joke. Like, no joke. So my biggest concern, and the reason I mention all this is because when it goes to the convention center, I fear that people are gonna go that are gonna be like the big convention goers.
I
The
see.
people who the people who
Yeah,
are
I could
gonna
see that too.
yeah. That's my biggest worry about SAC Anime going there. And I really hope it doesn't, because that could hurt SAC Anime. I mean, in the long run,
Hmm.
as I think a lot of people like us are gonna not want to go as much because of that. And to be completely honest, and especially what you guys kept saying, realistically, the main reason that we go is because of the community.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean,
And it might just feel a little strange or weird to have so many more new people in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right,
I
right.
can see that as one reason why we don't, where many people wouldn't want the con moved over to the convention center. But honestly, I look at it as an opportunity to see a way to expand something that's already great.
No, and I would never say that they shouldn't move to the convention center. That's not at all where I'm going with this. I just
Yeah,
worry that.
and I'm not implying that. It's just I can see where
Okay.
people are coming from if they didn't want it to move.
Gotcha, gotcha,
That's
gotcha,
all I'm
gotcha,
getting at.
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just I on that note, I mean, I adore SAG anime. I mean, I've been to quite a few conventions, and the small ones are always the ones, the more entertaining ones, the ones that I enjoy going to the most.
I
I kind of want to, because I wore my first cosplay ever at this like, it wasn't the first time I wore it, but I wore it at this convention
mm-hmm.
on Saturday.
And you got a lot of attention.
Holy crap! It was easily the most attention I've got from wearing that costume.
Yes.
What did you cosplay?
The Cartman's superhero alter ego.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Oh man, it was.
Yeah,
Where he tries to be something like Batman,
yeah.
and of course just
It's
continues to
totally,
act like
yeah.
he
Because
still acts like a total douchebag.
yeah, when the first time when the episode aired, it was right after Dark Knight had come out. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was an interesting reaction because I had gone to I'd gone to SatCon
Mm-hmm.
earlier, like I want to say, I think it was May, um, and I got some reactions. I mean, I got people going, "That was cool, that's a cool costume and stuff," which was great. But it wasn't very often. It was very far and few in between.
Mm-hmm.
And but Sac Anime was fantastic. Like, and that's another thing I have to say that I have to say about Sac Anime that I absolutely love. Not one time did I get shunned for wearing an American animation costume at an anime convention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I think you got a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people saying saying good things about your costume, and not to mention,
Yeah.
everybody's saying the coon every 5 minutes. But
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Just walking through areas. The coon, the coon. I'm the coon. Thanks.
right.
But no, it's great, and so like I I think that putting it in the middle of Sacramento is going to bring a lot more people, which is great because they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to
And
mention the infusion, the whole, that sort of culture to that area might, help to bring things up a little bit more.
well,
Possibly.
yeah, I have a friend who lives in Sacramento, and I told him where Sac Anime was because I was staying at my brother's house in Sacramento to go there, and he was hanging out at my brother's house, and he's like, I'm not going to drive all the way to Arden to go to a convention that I could go to just by riding my bike. And I'm like, I understand that, and so I kind of get where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's I don't know, it's tough. So like, I think I really do feel that them putting it in the convention center is going to be really good. I just hope. I mean, here's the reality of the situation. I'll stop stuttering and give my actual opinion.
Okay.
Um, there's going to be people that are going to show up that are going to be typical big cosplay or big convention people.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mhm.
that are going to show up and just ugh.
Yeah.
These people don't. Like, there are people out there that go, I've only seen Dragon Ball Z, or I've only seen stuff that Adult Swim plays. They haven't actually ever watched an anime subtitled. They've never actually watched an anime that was not on TV, American TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that when those people show up at the SAC anime that we just went to, they're embraced. People go, cool, let's hang out. I'll tell you about some more anime that you've never seen. Whereas I feel like there are going to be people. I mean, it's going to happen. There are going to be people at the at the actual convention that are going to shun those people.
Yeah, of course, of course.
and that,
Of course.
Because there's always that sort of audience that's always there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, especially I think what it reminds me of the time where every time Fanime happens in San Jose, you always get people asking questions like, "What exactly is this?" This one lady pulled up to me in her car, was like, "What's going on? Why is everybody in costume?" And we explained, it's an anime convention going in town. We're all having fun for the next 3 4 days, and it's very interesting to see other people's reactions, people who are quote unquote normal, that see what we're all about in our society and just kind of get very intrigued and kind of wondering like what exactly is this, and we'll look into it more. It's that hook, that that kind of invisible hook that hooks people into
Mhm.
our
right,
society
right.
in a way to want to know more about us. So it's very interesting to have it moved to the middle of downtown, because now you can have all these new people who have never seen an anime, or haven't seen one or two, very interested to see these diversity of people and cosplayers going to this convention, and you get a lot of people asking us questions. So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a very good thing.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that there's a lot of people out there who have seen anime when they were a child, or like the people who played Pokemon and then watched the anime, or the people who ran home to watch Dragon Ball Z and then they just kind of didn't watch anime anymore. And so in their mind, anime is what those two are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that bringing it to a bigger stage, to a better light, is wonderful.
Right.
I mean, it's one of the
Mhm.
biggest things that I really, really, really want to see at the convention, when it goes to the convention center, is a bigger space for the artist and the vendors.
Right. I gotcha. I
Mhm.
gotcha. I hear you. I hear you.
I think that the vendors are kind of like, all the vendors are cramped.
Yes. I think
Um,
Oh God,
yes.
yes, especially with the vendors hall, you literally had to wait in order to walk a couple steps.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's the vendors hall has always been crowded every second anime, and they had a room to put it in, and it was for a while big enough for everybody to move in. But after a while, when it got bigger and bigger, it was harder for people to move around and stand and look at what they want to buy.
Right. Yeah. It was a pain in there, and
Yeah.
I that's so like I really, that's like one of the biggest things I'm excited about, is just being able to maneuver around. I do question one thing though, and one of my favorite things about SAC anime, and it's just a question because I don't know,
Okay.
but one of my favorite things is when I go to the courtyard
Mm-hmm.
area in the back where the game room was.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's like cosplayer central over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where most of everybody is, and I love that little area. And I really hope that there's a place like that when it goes to the convention center.
Hmm.
Oh, right, I didn't even think of that because I mean that's like photographer central too, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just like
Oh yes.
Hmm.
it's like if you want to make yourself popular in the cosplay community, you would just mill around there, hoping that people
Mhm.
take pictures of you.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I did for um Artistic Alliance's website. Was just I hung around that area. I kept traipsing back and forth between the amphitheater area and the courtyard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good question. I think in due time, I think we'll probably have to figure it out on our own. But I think in due time, I think us and a bunch of other cosplayers will find a certain place where everybody can go hang out and take pictures of. Um,
There are some places like that there.
yeah.
Okay, good. Because
Um,
Mhm.
I've honestly never been in the Sacramento Convention Center, so I don't even know what it looks like in there.
yeah, it's kind
Well,
of like it reminds me a little bit, like at least the front of it reminds me a little bit of like kind of Fanime a little bit, but then kind of changes into its own shape. And then there's a park nearby, which I think is probably going to be a place where there's going to be a lot of photo shoots.
Mm,
And there's a couple other side areas. There's a little side courtyard too, so I don't know if that's going to be a possible place for them to do photos. But I'm really curious myself because I'm a photographer, so
right.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
really too with you guys. I know a couple places, but I think it's just going to kind of have to naturally happen.
Right. I hear you. I hear
and I
I,
think
I think I
that
think
if they
people. Go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Greg. Oh, all right. Well, I'll I'll take this one. But yeah, if anything, since you had mentioned the Fanima's McHenry Center, the one that they use in San Jose,
Mm,
I'm thinking that a lot of photographers would probably end up milling around right over where people would go to register for the convention, seeing as how, I mean, that's the prime place. Everyone pretty much has to pass by that point at some
true.
point.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So at the very least, there's always that particular type of location that would be established for them. But you mentioned that there's a park nearby.
Yeah, there's a park nearby, and then down the street there's a huge park near the Capitol. I'm not sure if you'd need a permit to take pictures on there or not, but I know that's probably there's a little park nearby. That's probably going to be a place. But if you were to just Google what the convention center looks like the front of it, because there's two entrances kind of like there's one that's kind of just a boring plain off the side of the road entrance, and there's another one that it looks like the same designer that made the McHenry Convention Center made the Sacramento one, because I can see there's like a registration area in the front, and then there's like a really big like wide area out in the front, kind of like where they do a lot of the photos, where a lot of cosplayers hang out like on Saturday and Sunday at Fanime. There's
Yeah,
kind of
and
a entrance giant rock area kind of like that. It's kind of hard to
okay, but
explain. You can
I'm
kind of
just
see it.
wondering when you mentioned the like that whole registration area. So that's the side that looks like if you go to the theaters and they have that huge glass wall and have the ticket vendors
Uh-huh.
go through. So it'd be something similar to that.
Um, kind of, but you know how when you go into Fanime, there's the registrations. You go through the doors, and then you go through like another area, and then there's where the registration is. It's
Yeah,
kind of deep on the inside like that, but there's also like a front, and then there's also an outside entrance too, that's really wide open.
I see.
yeah, because I'm
Hmm.
thinking that if they made use of that area, then they could be issuing passes like they would movie tickets. I don't know. It's a idea that to me it just comes off efficient, but practical. I'm not sure.
We shall see, and when in due time when it
Yeah, we'll
comes
see
up.
how it all turns out.
Ryan, I'm sorry, my friend. I have not gotten to you in its entire time. First off, are you still alive?
I am here. I am alive and well.
Awesome, awesome.
Just been listening.
Indeed.
Ryan, I want to know, hearing us talk about, kind of future what SAC anime is going to be, especially moving downtown. Um, what are your thoughts? Because I know you've been going to SAC anime for the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, or
Actually, a little bit longer than that, probably like 3 or 4, but I understand. I mean, you have no clue how long I've been going there. I mean, honestly, I don't really have any clue. I only realized how long I've been going since I think last SAC anime because I actually counted how many years I've been going. Yeah, it's been about maybe 3 or 4 years consecutively.
awesome.
Nice.
Um, and what's your opinion on all this? Like, do you think it's a good thing that's moving to downtown convention center?
I'll be honest, I do think it's good because this past weekend, or excuse me, the yeah, it was really kind of this past weekend. Not this past weekend,
Right,
but
right,
like
right.
before. No, it's good because there's a lot of people, and Sac Anime keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And let me use the rave as an example. Normally, the raves are awesome. There's enough room for everybody to be in there. Everyone can dance and do their own thing. Um, it got really crowded this Sac Anime, like really
I
super
was
crowded.
very curious
Friday,
about that because I didn't go, but I was very curious because it was
Oh,
so
the rave.
packed. This SAC anime.
Friday was better than Saturday, but Friday was still really packed. Saturday was really bad. Not bad as in it's not good, but like it's so good it was almost too good because there's so many
Yeah,
people in there,
that's
and it
right.
was it was a good event. It really was a good event on both days, I would say. But on Saturday there was a lot of people there. I mean, I was surprised. The whole room was pretty much filled. You couldn't really do much aside from fist pump after a certain time. But that's good. That just shows you how popular SAC anime is. and a lot of people just go for the rave. A lot of people don't even go as much for SAC anime itself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, 7,000 people strong. Obviously, a lot of people go to SAC anime, but I know a lot of people who do just go for the rave simply because the rave is pretty good and it's pretty popular, and a
Hmm.
lot of people do go. I mean, the rave's really more of a 18 plus type thing, but everyone goes. Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of younger people go as well, and it's just good fun for everybody. But the move to the convention center is definitely needed because if I'm sure you guys have noticed that the halls in the hotel are really
Oh
packed. I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
it is hard to get around, especially if you're trying to meet somebody or if you're trying to get to a certain event on time. I mean, just getting out of just walking by the vendors hall, there's just an enormous amount of people just walking in and out of the vendors hall. That's not even any of the panels or to see like any of your favorite voice actors or artists or anything like that. I mean, it's really huge. So I do think that the move to the convention center was necessary and is totally called for. I mean, I think if this convention got any bigger, you really wouldn't be able to house it in the Woodlake Hotel slash Radisson.
Right, I definitely agree. And to go back to your point about the rave, because I think what will happen is that you'll still get a good amount of people coming just for the convention, but I think you might get an increase for people who just want to go to the rave because it's in downtown Sacramento. You'll get more of those people that come down and check out the rave at Sac Anime. As far as music quality, it all depends on who they get, but that's hit or miss every time. Um,
Hmm.
Very true. I mean, you also have to realize that at SAC Animes they play a standard generic music that everyone can enjoy. So if you do go to the rave, it's not just strictly rave music or trance music or anything like that. It's typically generalized music that everyone has at least heard of at some point
mhm.
that everyone can enjoy. I kind of want to stress that because I have heard some people say that I'm afraid to go to the rave because it might just be all like trancey techno stuff, but it really isn't. I mean, you will definitely get some trancey techno stuff in there,
Right.
but it's really music that everyone has eventually heard on the radio at one point or another, even if it's just party music and stuff. It's really generalized to a wide variety of people, so anyone can go and enjoy it. I've had friends of mine from different backgrounds of life. I mean, I've had like metalheads and ravers, like real ravers who go to like trance and dubstep and stuff like that. I've had people who just listen to pop and regular rock and stuff go, and they've all enjoyed it. So I mean, it's something that everyone can enjoy. It's not just something. It's not the music there isn't specialized for only a certain audience or group. It really is something that everyone can enjoy.
Definitely. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think the one gripe I have, and maybe a small gripe, aside from the stuff they play, is that when at least from my particular memory, it's like especially at Fanime, like they had at anime conventions, they had specific anime songs mixed into whatever music they're going to, so it was
Yeah.
still the anime theme, but at the same time it was still whatever songs they put into that most everybody would recognize. But to each their own. So
No, very true. I mean, I totally hear the same, very similar anime music and stuff, but I mean, you kind of have to expect that at an anime convention. So they got to play at least a couple anime songs, more than likely the most popularized songs, which at this point may or may not be good depending on how many times you've actually heard that song,
very
which
good
I'm sure
point.
you and I have gotten very annoyed at certain songs that have been
Yeah,
played.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can tell you right now, like I guarantee you, for the next good 3 to 4 months, we're gonna hear at least one Gangnam Style song in each rave.
I actually heard that on the radio a couple times.
What?
Yeah,
No, really.
Korean music in our USA radios. Oh yeah, awesome. So I'm gonna throw this question out to you guys. Now we talk a lot about the future and as far as like where it's gonna be. This past SAC anime, what exactly stood out to you? And you guys can take over and Do what you will.
Mhm.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. Kazu, you first.
Yep. Okay. Stood out to me. Well, one thing I noticed is me and another photographer were talking about this. There was seemed to be more families at
Really?
the con.
Really?
I noticed that. Seemed like there were more people that had come with their families or parents that were with them that were all enjoying the con as well. Just like the regular kids and people that come all the time. And I saw one girl that was like teaching her dad about some cosplay that I didn't recognize, but it was really really cool. She's like, "Oh yeah, that series is this," and I was like, "Oh, that's really awesome to see more families getting involved in the convention." And you know, not only that, but there was just it's kind of the thing that you get at Sac Anime is just little things here and there. You can walk from one end of the convention to the other and just see really interesting things. I mean, I was walking by and I saw these guys playing the ocarina, playing Zelda songs,
Yeah, I
and
saw those guys too.
um,
Yeah.
one had a guitar and the other one had a ocarina, and it was really cool. And then walk a little further and see cool cosplay, and then I stopped by the gaming room and I noticed that some of the tournaments there were like so packed they wouldn't even let
Oh
anybody
yeah.
like in. Like the brawl tournament, I think had to be the like one of the biggest ones. That thing was like ridiculously huge. Like I don't even think they had enough room in the building for the contestants. Like there was so many.
Right.
And then of course we had a panel on Friday. It went really well. And see, I was actually kind of interested in the card game room this time. I stopped by there. I haven't really covered it before, so I wanted to get some kind of footage or something from it.
Mhm.
And then I noticed there was actually like a lot more people playing more obscure card games than just like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. Like I spotted someone playing Card Fight Vanguard.
Oh wow.
And there was even some people with the Bushy Road cards and Weiss Cruise cards. So that was like really cool, and I had a little geek moment over that. And lots of random Gangnam Style flash mobs.
Oh yeah.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes annoying, sometimes funny when there's nothing else going on.
Mhm.
Um, One thing I think that actually annoyed me a little bit that I'm gonna try talking to them about is their control over the autograph lines.
Mm.
Mm,
To
right.
me, that's actually my biggest gripe is the autograph lines. I honestly hate the way it's set up. I know they can't do much. Like there's not a lot of like room for them to do anything, and the guests kind of come and go when they want to. Like they can't make the guest stay for longer if the guest only wants to sign for an hour.
Right. Right.
But I know my problem is that I have a bad back. So I have to keep moving. I'm actually one of those people like if I keep moving, I can do more stuff. But if I stand in one spot for a really long time, I can't stand it. It irritates me. And it just my back's like shot. And I was been trying to talk to them if they had a way to maybe make the autographs like more accessible to like I have a couple friends that I had a friend on crutches last year, and they made him go all the way to the back, and he like they wouldn't let you sit down either because then you block doorways or you block entrances and stuff like that, and it's kind of difficult for people with limited abilities to really stand in line for 4 hours waiting for one guest, and that's just one of my pet peeves. It bothers me. I'm gonna be like, "Hey guys, you should do this," and you know what? The other thing too is that anyone can actually walk up to registration and register as you if you're a press member.
Really?
I got there on Friday and found out that somebody else had already logged in with my name, got my badge and my plus one's badge, and they were parading around as me with my name and Runner on Network's name
Oh
at the
my
con.
god.
Yo, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
and I was like, okay, I don't know whether to be flattered or irritated.
Right. Right.
And I immediately thought, the first thing I thought was, oh, I should go talk to the staff and say, hey, if something weird happens and my name is involved in whatever, if that person's a crazy person and does something stupid, I don't want my name or my company to look bad. So I went and I talked to Joden first, and I told him, I was like, yeah, just so you know, I have a clone running around.
Yeah.
And I said, don't if you hear anything weird, don't think anything. And I think that is something they should work on, is reforming the press registration or the press pickup
Yeah.
or badges in general.
there's a very easy solution to that is when people request badges
Hmm.
through email, they need to
Hmm.
send a
Like a
some kind
code.
of confirmation paper.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Doesn't
Definitely.
have to
show
be like
some
a
Or I was
ID or
thinking that what
business
they
card
could
or something.
do. uh,
Sorry.
Well, I was thinking that what they could do is what they've done over at SatCon. From when I went to go pick up my press pass, I had to show my business card and my ID to prove that
Hmm.
that was me.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
mean, like, if you do that, then I mean, you
That
really can't
was
get around that.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. Is like ID would be a good idea. But for me, that wouldn't work out for me because nobody knows the name that's on my ID, and I can't just that wouldn't work for me because I don't have like the
the
same name
re-
that's on my ID.
the
So
other reason I think sorry, I was gonna say the other reason I think
yeah,
confirmation paper would work is because exactly what you're saying. Like some of us don't go by our actual names, some of us go by our
exactly,
aliases. So
exactly.
if we get the confirmation, they just go, okay, you're part of this website, cool, what's
Yeah,
your name, and then they make it out to you right then and there. Like it's not a difficult thing. I
yeah,
just think that they don't go that route because they don't think about that. It's
Yeah,
never an
like I
issue.
completely missed the whole
yeah. It's never
concept of
really been an
just
issue.
Well,
registering a
real
pseudonym.
quick, the situation that I had with the passes was uh I was told by the guys that got me my pass that um all I had to do was go up there, let them know what website I was with, and then give them my name, and I should be fine. I get up there, and my name's not on the list at all.
Wow.
Wow.
And so the lady comes out and she goes, "Well, there's a +1 here, so we'll go ahead and give you your pass. But if whoever else comes, one of these two guys show up, the other one's gonna have to buy a ticket." And I went, "What's going on?" And she goes, "Each
Wow.
website only gets 2 passes."
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so my first thought was, okay, well, how did we not know that information? How did they not give that to press almost immediately as soon as we ask for press passes? Like that makes no sense to me that would just be an oversight that they wouldn't tell us because
Hmm.
like well Artistic Alliance for example had because I don't have a car, I was getting transportation from friends who wanted to go. So I had asked John and Ben, under the assumption, hey, because of my transportation, I need somebody to get, I need a free pass for them, and it turned into this huge hassle. I waited like a half an hour for my pass, and then when John and Ben showed up really late on Saturday or Friday, that's what they had to deal with. So it was a headache. So like I think that their whole press pass thing needs to be revised, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's probably on the bottom of their list.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. I think that they're going to be more concerned with everything else because of the big move, and I think press pass may be something that they're not going to be, you know, worried about as much. But I do agree. I think they
Yeah.
should definitely work on it, though.
From what I know, I brought it up to the staff a few times, and the guy, Jason Doobie,
Hmm.
he's kind of been in charge of the press system for a while.
Hmm.
They're relieving him of that and giving it to somebody else, and he just basically told me like, yeah, I don't have any control of it anymore, so I'm sorry. And I
Wow.
don't know if it's because they're getting serious about it, or if like what happened to me is kind of like making them realize they need to have some kind of confirmation system or something. That's definitely the thing that I thought of was the confirmation. Like maybe just for press, they should do that. Not for all badges, but just maybe press, give each press, because there's only like 20, 30 people on the press list, and they could
Well,
easily just mail us individual confirmations, and then we could print
Yeah.
that out,
And it,
come with it.
and it's the same 20, 30 people that they go every SAG anime. So it's like there isn't
Yeah.
no, nobody's trying to get in for free because
Hmm.
they just made a blog or something. No, actually it's the same people
Hmm.
that do the same work every time.
Yeah,
Um,
and usually I have no problems with them. Like they always are, oh, Kazu, here, use your badge and stuff. So it's like really normal. But this time there was like a lady that didn't know me, and then she was like, I mean, because sometimes they don't even go to the list for me,
mm,
and she was like, find your name on the list. And I'm like, okay. And
hmm.
she's like, oh, it looks like you and your +1 already checked in. I'm like, no, we didn't.
let me just say that I had not the exact same problem, but I had a similar problem where I had a pre-reg and whatnot, and they actually didn't even have my name on the list. I had to go
Oh
get the
man.
confirmation number and show them that I actually had it, and they gave me my
Wow.
pass immediately. But still, I mean, the fact that I was not even on there when I had two different confirmation emails saying that I was affirmed to be on the list is pretty distressing. But also, I would agree that if they're actually not checking, I mean, because they check for every other guest. Every guest you should have either some ID or some kind of
Mhm.
thing. I mean, if you're not on the list, of course. If you're on the list, then you're good to go for some reason. I
Mhm.
mean, I think you should at least prove who you are, much like if you were going to go get something else. I mean, like say you order an item online in a store or something, you still have to show ID to show that you bought the particular item. So
Mhm.
I don't see why doing so at a SAC anime would be hard. I mean, granted, if you're under 18 or you're just not old enough to get an ID, I can understand that, but still, you should have some kind of parental unit there to provide some sort of identification to show that you are whom you are. But I would agree with that, that they do just need to kind of get that problem fixed,
Yeah, that's one
especially
of the
because I
areas
didn't
they
know that
should work
was,
on.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I had no clue that you had a problem with that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that is pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, other than that though, I mean, had a really great weekend. Usual sec anime, but like you guys were saying earlier too, did have kind of a more relaxed, more welcoming feel than usual, and that I don't know if there's really a way to explain why, but we kind of all knew it was the last Radisson, and it kind of had that thing in the air. Sec anime was like, oh yeah, let's enjoy let's go out with a bang at the Radisson, and I think it was kind of more like seemed more relaxed to me in general.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I wish for that every time at every convention I go to, where it's just
Yeah.
relax and just be like, don't have to worry about a damn thing. Just be chilling with all your friends or going to panels or whatnot. That's the best feeling in the
I mean,
world.
my schedule was insane. I was actually busier this con than I've ever been before,
Mm,
but during all of that busy, when the con itself is more relaxed, it helps. It
definitely,
helps.
definitely. What was it? Okay.
Yeah, interestingly enough, you said that you were the busiest that you've ever been this con.
Mhm. Mhm.
Surprisingly, just given how things turned out over the course of the weekend,
Mhm.
this year has surprisingly been the one where I have done the least amount of things.
Oh,
I
really?
have I have to agree with you on that, Chris. This was the year that I did the least too. I mean, I don't even think I got any video that was worth capturing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of did jack shit as well.
I don't know if it
Yeah, like
was
for me, I
really.
Damn,
literally,
we're horrible
I
people.
like I
No, I
literally
think it's
spent
literally. I think it's
75% just in lines. I
uh,
shit you not.
I was gonna say I think it's for me personally was because there was just there was a feeling of the overwhelming amount of things and people going on and whatnot, and also I think that because it was the last one at this location, and pretty much every psych anime I'd been to, I had like worked my butt off getting stuff for our website. I just wanted to kind of enjoy the con.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, yes,
That's kind of how the last one was for me.
yeah. Chris,
Hmm.
quickly, kind of go over what was like the your favorite moments of the psych anime for you.
I finally was able to take advantage of a certain ballsy request given to me a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, so for those of us who've played Catherine, there's a certain line that's said by Laura Bailey as C. Catherine to Michelle Ruff, who is K. Catherine. And
huh.
this is when the two of them are confronting one another in Vincent's apartment. And to just really piss off K. Catherine, C. Catherine says that Vincent is a wild man in the sack. And after nervously asking, Laura Bailey did actually sign off that line. And when she was asking me like to double check, she said it 3 times, each one more suggestive than the last.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And not only that, but like the one time I was able to see her, I got her to sign off 3 things, even though the limit was one, just because she saw that I had a whole bunch of Catherine stuff.
Sweet.
But other than that, I would actually say that some of my better moments were, of course, that one stands out as number one. But interestingly enough, the rave on Saturday night.
Mm. Mm. Awesome.
Hmm.
One of the few things that I noticed was different was that someone had the ingenious idea to put glow sticks with inflatable balloons,
Oh, the
and
balloons. Yeah.
What? Really? I wasn't there, but
yeah,
Yeah,
just
there's
like the,
a picture of me catching one on my profile.
oh, that's so sick.
yeah, I had like the idea had not even crossed my mind, but someone had taken like all these different colored glow sticks and then matched them accordingly to the balloons that they were supposed to go with. So a red one had some red glow stick stuff after it's already been cracked. Yellow one had yellow, a white one had white, blue had blue, etc. And they went through and then inflated these things, and then there were literally just these, spheres of light just flying
That
Yeah, it was
around.
really
that
cool.
is cool. Wow, that is sick.
That sounds rad.
And not only that, but I was up on stage front and center for like 10 minutes on Saturday night.
Awesome. That is really cool. I really dig the idea. Oh man, I hope that's gonna happen at the next SAC anime. Oh,
Which now that you mention that, if when they go through and they bring the rave back, I wonder will they have a room comparable to the size that they used for the SAC anime just passed, or do you think they try to go for something bigger, try to draw in more of a crowd?
I'd say if I was a betting man, and I don't bet much, I would say that they would probably go bigger room size for the
Hmm.
rave, so that they can accommodate more people, and also for people because they have this thing at Sac Anime where like you can pay $5 just to go to the rave, and if they do the
Hmm.
same thing for this next Sac Anime, I'm pretty sure that they'll go for a bigger room for to bring in more people in, and like use that rave as much as they can to gain even more revenue. So, with
You know about that, there is a ballroom in the convention center that is kind of like the one at the Wood Lake, although it is actually wider and longer, and I think they plan on using that for the Rave and the Masquerade.
Oh my God. That's gonna be huge.
Hmm.
Sick. Chris, was there anything else that stood out to you this past SAC anime?
Like I said, other than what I've already mentioned, surprisingly, there is one thing, and it's surprisingly not positive. The vendors hall itself, not to talk about the general crowdedness of the area, but honestly, I found little to nothing in there that actually interests me enough to consider buying anything.
Mm, was it?
Like normally I go there and I'm willing to drop about I don't know 100 $120 in the vendors hall,
Hmm.
no problem.
Right.
And other than finding myself a sweet ass batarang, it's a two-sided switchblade.
Ooh,
Oh, I saw that.
nice.
I saw that.
Yeah, I got one of the last few black ones on
Nice.
Sunday for $22, which I should have tried haggling it down, but whatever.
I hear you.
Didn't want to bother at that point.
I hear you.
But um, seriously, other than that, I really didn't really find anything that drew me in.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of feel you on that one. I didn't really find there was like one store I think I bought most of my stuff from, and that was it.
Hmm.
I think it's probably the Toys Logic booth. It's that one booth that's run by this one guy and his wife, right?
Hmm. His
Yeah, that's
wife.
where.
It's his wife. Echo and his wife. I forgot her name. And it's them and his niece too. They run Toys Logic.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's the one that you were most likely doing your shopping at. They're the only one there, quite frankly, that has anything that I'd say is up to snuff.
They have a really great
Everyone else
amount
is,
of stuff that's recent.
yeah, but not only that, but they actually keep their wares diverse enough to draw in a wide audience. I
Oh
noticed that
yes.
with pretty much everything else there, um, I can pretty much break it down into about 5 categories. Puella Magi Madoka, so Madoka,
Mm-hmm.
Gundams, Tiger and Bunny,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest was a miscellany of moe, goodness,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hmm.
then cast-off figurines.
Hmm.
And they have a lot of One Piece figures.
Where with the Logic
Toys
guys,
R
they
Us.
were they in the back, like toward the right side?
No, they're actually towards the doors. They always end up getting that spot.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're usually in
okay.
the same spot.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool, awesome. That is cool. That is yes, yes, yes. I'm speaking in Bane's voice now. Um, um,
I believe
Yeah,
it's more along the lines of Sean Connery.
yes, it is. Ryan, tell us your favorite moments from this past SAC anime.
My favorite moment. I don't know. There were so many good ones. I actually enjoyed going to the card room this time. I've never actually partaked in the enjoyment of the card games, but
oh, you were at the
I'm an
card game
old
too.
school Magic player, so I actually brought
Nice.
my cards, and it was fun reliving the old school days of Magic and shit. I liked it. It
Nice.
was fun.
I liked how
Um,
you said that in the year old in this kind of like old Victorian like language you're talking.
In the old times.
well, it kind of feels like that in Magic and whatnot. I mean, it's been going strong for I don't know how many years
Quite a
now.
long time.
Yeah, like I remember playing it in middle school, so
I
Hmm.
think it came out in like '93. I
I
think.
know.
Yeah. We're old. Um, but yeah, that sounds great, man. You know what's funny? It's like I've never. I mean, I kind of been there every once in a while, but like, uh, when you have a magic deck and you're just a card room, there's always time for a game or two.
Mhm.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm. Was there anything else
But
that stood out to you, Ryan?
oh, there's a couple things. Once again, I think the community was just friendlier as a whole, particularly because one of the reasons, at least, that I think that was because of the whole Harrison Randall thing. I think
Yes,
that kind of
yes.
Mhm.
helped strengthen the community together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everyone was just friendlier in general. I think cosplayers in general are just being friendlier to one another, and I think just the public in general is accepting anime and cosplay into the norm, and everyone is just treating each other very well. I mean, I didn't see any kind of drama or any problem, not even with security. I mean, normally everyone has some weird problem with security, but like I didn't even see
Mhm.
that. Um, Everything was really good. That was one of the biggest things that I noticed. Chris actually brought that up originally, but I think the whole community as a whole was brought together more, and I enjoyed that because you could pretty much go up and talk to anybody and just make a new random friend, and that
Oh, I
was
did
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
made like two random friends.
Exactly. I met a whole bunch of new people that I never knew before, so I think that was one of the best things.
That's awesome.
That is great to hear. It was
I
always
love it when that happens.
yeah, it's always loved when I hear like when somebody goes to the anime convention and that they go in and they have no friends, but the time they come out, it's like they have 10 friends now. It's like it's always a great story to hear. Um, Greg Dietz,
Yeah, yeah.
the coon. Tell us your favorite moments out of the SAC anime.
Uh, honestly, it's hard to exactly put it like because it was pretty much the same this year as it has been the other years, except for the fact that it was just bigger. There was more people. I'll give you some of the moments that stick out in my head as the funniest moments to me.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Um, so have you guys ever seen the animation that's online of My Little Pony
Mm-hmm.
that Max Gerardi or Hot Diggity Demon did?
Mm-hmm.
The
Um, one of
creator
the
of the
girl,
Mob series,
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. That.
or MOV, correction.
A girl on Friday came cosplayed as the Fluttershy version of his world, and
Yes.
she was walking
Hey,
around with a bloody
hey,
chainsaw.
hey!
She
What
she
I tell y'all about coming in my shed?
yeah, absolutely hilarious. I kind of mad that I didn't take a picture of it, but that was one of my favorite cosplays. That sticks out really strongly in my head. Two moments that are really funny to me that stick out in my head when I was wearing my coon costume.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is there was this. I'm sure you guys saw him. He was there all 3 days. Wearing flamboyant gay costumes the whole time. Like he wasn't in cosplay; he was just dressed that way.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was very flamboyantly gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah. No, nothing wrong with it. But yes, go on.
I thought that we
I mean,
got
he
to a point
sticks
where we
out.
didn't have to explain that.
Um, but he had walked by me when I was dressed as a coon, and he yells at the top of his lungs, "Oh shit, it's Coontang!"
Oh, that's good. Oh my god.
I don't know, like my buddy and I that were there, I kind of looked at him, he looked at me. We realized that it did really just happen, that we weren't that not one of us was insane. And I looked, I was like, well, that was a thing that happened. And then we just lost it. We just started laughing so hard. The other moment when I was dressed as a coon that was really funny to me was, I was in, it was one of those moments in the courtyard where everyone wants your picture at the exact same moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was stopped for a little while, and one of the first ones that I got was a black guy. He comes up, he goes, "Dude, I gotta get a picture with you. It's amazing." And I said, "Yeah, not a problem." So he goes to take a picture, and he goes, "You know what's funny? It's a coon taking a picture with the coon." I'm like, "Whoa, dude,
Wow.
whoa."
Wow.
Wow. But like,
It was funny.
I hear you because like if you have like an awesome costume that you worked so hard on and you wear it and people are like really cool about, like you might be standing there for like 5 straight minutes of just you in the same pose while they take
Yeah,
pictures. I've
just
been there.
which is absolutely great. Like one of the other like really cool costumes that I saw that I was really happy with was a guy came as Victor Zsasz, a
Yes.
very
Yeah.
underrated villain from Batman.
Uh-huh. It was really cool and he was playing the part
And
too pretty well.
he even
Yeah,
had the marks all across his body for it. It was
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yes, man, that must have taken a lot of time and effort to do. Not to mention using.
And speaking of,
Or go ahead.
go ahead. Oh,
Oh, no.
well, I was gonna say, and speaking of Batman, another underrated character that showed up was my friend Lewis, who went as Calendar Man from Arkham
No
Asylum.
way. He was.
I did not
Yeah,
see him.
he
I'm
was
little.
there on Saturday. You had the full-on orange jumpsuit, had the bald cap on, and then had
Wow.
the dates and everything like that written on his body and everything.
Oh shit.
My God,
Man,
did not see
I
him.
wish I would have saw him. Damn. Wow.
Oh, I can share the pictures onto the Facebook page for MSP if you guys would like to check it out later on.
You
Absolutely.
should.
Yes, you
Mhm.
should. That'd be great. Um.
Yeah, it was just that I think the game rooms were a lot of fun this year too. I was cracking up because on Friday the second game room with all the Smash Brothers tables, and the secondary room with all the uh, rhythm games
Mm-hmm.
that hadn't opened yet on Friday. And since I was there like from beginning to end on Friday, um, the I'd walked back there and I was just like, oh shit, it's like all three of the original Smash Brothers. That's rad. What's in this other room? Well, I found the rhythm games. It was every single one of them. My friend Ray and I, she was laughing really hard because when we went into the rhythm game room on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
like Sunday, it was like 2ish. They were doing a Just Dance competition.
Oh, you were there for that? Oh man, that was
Uh,
awesome. That was so funny.
the judge that was on the far, like the black guy that was on the far end,
Yeah.
he looked like he didn't want to be there. And watching him was hilarious.
Yes.
Just because he's just like, oh, these white people can't dance. Oh,
That's
it's
funny.
so funny.
Oh my
So,
god. Yes.
but yeah, it's moments like those that always stand out in my head. The stuff that's like I wouldn't expect to see there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that I really, really like just pop out my head. Or the fact that I learned that Johnny Young Bosch is in a band. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I shine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that up at autographs, if you don't make some mention, like it's subtle, but he shows that like if you just go and get his autograph, he gets kind of bummed out by that.
Huh.
Like because people are he can understand it that people are there just to see him, but then you notice there's like this whole gaggle of people that's right next to him, and then it's like they're getting overlooked.
Yeah.
And I went to see part of their concerts, and the band that he performs in, it's called I Shine, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I just hoping that I'm not off on that, but
No, that's true. That's true.
okay, thank God. But honestly, they're really great on stage, and when he went and was performing with them, honestly, like they had the crowd going wild. On Friday night, I think it was that they were performing.
Mm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Friday because I was trying to get an interview with him, and like when I was trying to talk to Topher, as I talked to Topher, Johnny and Bosch was finishing up his signings, and I went, "Cool, he's almost done. I can totally get an interview with him." And then Topher's like, "Yeah, he's gonna go perform. How would you like an interview with Jennifer Hale and Roger Craig Smith?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I wasn't gonna be disappointed, but it was definitely a moment that a little disappointed not getting Johnny Young Bosch, but really happy I got two others that I really enjoy too. Because I don't know if you guys know who, like, what voices Jennifer Hale and Roger Craig Smith do,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yes.
yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. And the interview is was a lot of fun. That's one of the biggest moments that sticks out in my head because, granted, I only got 15 minutes with them. It was great because my biggest thing about interviewing voice actors is I want them to talk most of the time. I want
Oh
them to
yeah.
tell me things. So like I'll ask a question and then I just want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I might give my opinion to kind of like steer the conversation in a slightly different direction, but they're still the ones talking. And Roger Craig Smith gave me this whole thing about like what's really interesting about how video game and voice acting is done nowadays, especially for video games, is that they want to do mocap. And if the voice actor doesn't fit the mocap, they usually don't hire the voice actor for that role.
Hmm.
The only time that they hire the voice actor is if the mocap stuff is not necessary.
Right.
So
Huh.
like with so for example, I had the chance a couple of years ago to interview uh the woman who does Sheva Alomar in Resident Evil 5.
Right. Right. Right.
Hmm.
And the way that she explained to me that she did it, she did the voice, face, body, everything.
Mm.
She was Sheva Alomar. However, Chris Redfield was he mocapped by a big black guy, facial captured by and voiced by Roger Craig Smith. And what's so interesting about that, and we didn't really get into this unfortunately, but what's so interesting about that to me is that he um he really had this kind of attitude that kind of thing where they get a voice actor and a mocap guy separately is a thing of the past. That's kind of what he was alluding to. The fact that he's only 5'5" and he's been turned down for roles because of his height.
Hmm.
Wow.
Interesting.
That Jennifer Hale's been turned down for roles because she doesn't fit the exact signature that they want for the character.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like it's that interview was really interesting to me because of that. And then of course I have to enter all interviews on, can you do a voice?
Of course. Of course.
So yeah, I had her. I just said, and I give them the freedom to say whatever they want with whatever voice they want. So it's all up to them. And she um she did Commander Shepard,
Oh
Wow.
yes.
Awesome.
Femship.
and
Yep.
yeah, she renegaded me out too, which was really funny because
Nice.
she goes, this is my favorite. I should go. Like,
That is awesome.
it was awesome. It was awesome, but it was. But then Roger Craig Smith just did Ezio.
Yes.
Sure spoke Italian in the room. I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yes.
that was
And he did
so
that
cool.
on the way going through autographs as well.
No way, really.
Yeah, like because everyone just like had so many copies of Assassin's Creed on, it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm Perma Ezio, and like, I actually had a copy of Sonic Generations because he plays the voice of Sonic,
Hmm.
um, and I'm like, okay, and unfortunately, I also had Assassin's Creed, so we signed off on that. And he just kept speaking in well, I can't really say fake Italian considering that you did have to learn some of the language for his role, but
Mm-hmm.
like he had accent and everything. He went through that throughout the entire line.
That is sick. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll make it quick and point out my favorite moments. I believe what was it? Aside from the game room, because that's kind of where I kind of nest and kind of just like play the shit out of Marvel and whatnot. But I think one of the moments that stood out to me that just it was the most nerdiest thing I've done in a long time. I took a picture of these stormtrooper cosplayers, and they had an Ewok with them, which was really cool. So then afterwards, I went to the stormtrooper and asked him, and I did the whole Jedi mind trick thing. I said, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." And then, like in the movie, he's like, "Move along." And I was just geeking out so much. Oh man.
That was really cool. I like that. I like that whole costume, how it sounded and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like the geekiest, nerdiest moment I've ever done in a long time. But aside from that, I had a lot of fun. I talked to new people I've never talked to in a while. I met new people. Um, hang out with friends. Just had a blast. I just overall I had a blast, and I'm glad that it went out this way, and hopefully when it goes to Psych Anime in the convention center, hopefully it will still retain this kind of hospitality. Everybody's a friend and that type of mood. But we shall see.
Mhm.
We shall see. Thank you guys for joining me for this podcast. We needed a star-studded cast, and we brought it. Yeah.
My pleasure.
So
It's nice to know
That's
that
what
I'm
we
a
do, I
star.
guess.
yeah. So, um, Kazu, I'm gonna let you go first. Where can they find you on the internet?
Anyone can find me at www.runaroundnetwork.com, where I post blog articles and news from the industry. You can also find me on Twitter if you just search Hikaru Kazushime or Run Around Network. And the same goes for Facebook.
Awesome. Greg Dietz, you're next.
You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr under Chub Rock Geek. You can find me on YouTube under A Geek Losing It, or just search for A Geek Losing It. You'll find my blog, which I'm going to be starting up here very soon, just because I've lost a bunch of weight and I need to
Congrats, man.
document it.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Thank you. You can also find my podcast, The Overtime, on artisticalliance.org. I am also I do spots on our other podcast, the Freaking Awesome Podcast, which you can also find on our website, artisticalliance.org, and on iTunes. Um, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's the only places I'm on the internet. We're good.
Awesome. Chris, you.
Yep. Well, God damn it, Facebook. Well, I was gonna say that I had my own Facebook account up for it, but with Facebook doing the cosplay purge, I'm pretty much relegated to no longer include that. But everyone can of course find me on facebook.com/Mission Start Podcast as I'm through there, and of course through missionstartpodcast.com. I have also created a Facebook page and Tumblr for myself, both of which that can be found by searching Kaz Cosplay, Kaz Cosplay.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, and I think that's really just about it.
Cool.
That's all of it.
Awesome. Ryan, you rounded out.
All right. You can find me on www.missionstartpodcast.com. Also, I am on Facebook under the same name, so there you go.
Awesome. And you can follow me at Defective Naruto on Twitter. You can also follow, as previously what Chris and Ryan said, you can follow my work as well as everybody else's at missionstartpodcast.com. There you can find our Facebook, our Twitter, our Twitch TV channel, everything that you need to know about us, our podcasting, iTunes, everything you need to do is right there on that website. So go check it out, go subscribe, do whatever. like yada yada. Anyways, I can't thank you guys enough again for joining me for this podcast. And I would like to say thank you for people who've been listening to us over the years, as well as thank you Stack Anime for having this great last convention at the Radisson Hotel / Woodlake. And with that, I'd say adieu, and I will see you all next time.